Hey, everybody, welcome to the Blathering Live. I'm Cat Knapsack, episode 109, I believe, in the ongoing collection of podcasts and videos that you can get from tuning in and listening to me. I don't know. That works as an intro. Not official. I'm broadcasting a little bit of darkness tonight. Not emotional darkness, actual darkness. I was messing around with my lights, and I forgot to fix it all. Hey, Laserbolt is here. Addie is here. We got Jared checking in as well. A lot of folks here. Leave a comment. Engage. Be part of the show. We have got not a broadcasting ahead of us. We had a lot of fun last week, and this week we'll try to have some fun. I have a poll up. The poll of the night is there. Going to want that answer if you call into the show. And you should call into the show. Become a channel member or a Patreon supporter at patreon.com/catnapstock. Links are down below if you're watching here live on YouTube. But if you're on Facebook and Twitch and you can't get the links, just go to my website, catnapstock.com, and you'll link to the Patreon page. Or go back to YouTube and become a channel member. Oh, Sventnik is here as well, 1138. It's a Star Wars reference, kind of. I mean, it's a number in Star Wars, but I always think of it as just a George Lucas reference in general here. So he is here as well. Like I said, Jared is here. Of course, I try to strike that balance between what is going on in the world and trying to provide escapes from the world. We don't want to put our head so far in the sand that we don't keep up there. Eric Elliott's here, says Honest to Claude. Honest to Claude. Now that is a Star Wars reference I can really appreciate, Eric. I love me some Claude. Evening, says Addie. What's going on? I got some housekeeping. I got some things I want you guys to know about. But, of course, what is kind of going on is Hurricane Milton. That is right now, almost right about now, hitting the West Florida coast, and which is weird because it's east and west, sometimes. And we have some friends of the show who are out there in the path. I got some friends myself, not of the show, meaning you don't really know them. They're out there as well in Tampa and Orlando. So we're monitoring. Our buddy Alden Diaz, co-host of Anytime with Ken and Alden, is out there in the path. Got our buddy Big Lou, a little north, but still concerned, still paying attention. So I don't know if Big Lou's going to have a chance to stop by and say hi in this little show. So our thoughts are out there. Eric says, that's my Star Wars YouTube channel. Honest to Claude. That's a great name. Addie says, my brother lives near Tampa. Jared updates us that there's a live briefing coming in from Biden. And, yeah, so I've been monitoring things, and, we'll this is the world we live in. This is going on all the time. You can't if you go live. Okay, there you go. If you play that music, some weird music going on the CNN live stream. They've chosen some really calm music in the background. So they've got live footage. I've been watching this camera all day. For those on the podcast side, I've got live footage up on CNN of, I hope CNN doesn't dock me for this. I don't get some kind of copyright thing shutting down the stream. Didn't think about that. It's news, people. I want to broadcast it. I'm not trying to steal their feed here. We got Jonathan here. Steve's here as well. We'll have some NFL picks coming later in the show as well, as we balance all circles of life. They've had this camera up. Bradenton, Florida is in the target, so to speak, unfortunately, of Hurricane Milton. Key West, Florida, I know, is a little bit south of it, but still experiencing something. But I've been watching this camera all day, this Key West camera. A ton of people running in there, taking camera shots and selfies and that kind of idiocracy thing. Like, I get the weather obsession. My dad and I both kind of have this, like, I'd like to chase the tornado vibe. My dad grew up in Iowa, very familiar with tornadoes. Like, I'll go to the beach if it's a high tide or something like that, if I'm in Pismo, my hometown. But, again, I know Key West is south of the target zone. I got it. I get it. But I was amazed all day. There's even some guy there now. There's a guy there now, just like hanging out. And again, I look at the way I know Key West isn't in the hot zone. But you don't know. The hurricane could make a turn, right? It's amazed me all day, especially now when you're at 8 o'clock. You're past 8 o'clock in the east, and you're like, hey, you know what? You know what we should do? Let's go to the beach. Now, there's some folks I've been watching it. Watching also, I've been a fan of Reed Timmer for years. If you all know Reed, he used to be on a show called Storm Chasers. I'm going to share this. I hope I don't get dinged for this as well. This is his live feed. He's down there in his, I think, Dominator 11 down there. He is a seasoned storm chaser, does it for research purposes, has been in the game for a very long time. Great information, updated information in there, and it's dangerous stuff there. I used to love watching that show years ago. That's what I thought, I'd be on a storm chase team. I don't know if I would, but what kind of data is he getting? I'm too dumb, Jared, to fully explain it. But they release little robot drones, not like controlled, but like little things that get picked up, and they track the data, and they try to. It's a matter of warn tornadoes specifically, because their focus has always been tornadoes. So like, how can you warn? 10 seconds could save a life, that kind of thing. And he's been part of that, as well as just been a media personality around it. So he has a big brand around it, of course, but he's been doing good work for years. So I've been watching that. These are the things that I have been watching all day, and I don't mean to, just kind of. There he is. Big Lou checking in. Big Lou checking in. All good here in Jacksonville for now. We're thinking of you, Big Lou, thinking of everyone out there who's in this here. I just had some friends had to fly out South Carolina for work. They're going to be okay, but all that kind of stuff going on. Cinder checking in. Cinder says, hey, Ken, I'm watching from a cruise. Can't talk in Miami, so we're hanging out at sea there. So, yeah. So we have this going on. Then we have a bunch of silliness going on. That's what we do here in the Blathering. We got some calls coming in. If you want to call in, like I said, become a channel member as well. I want to shout out some friends of the show and focus on creation and art. Something you can turn to for respite and insight and more in these troubled times. We've been highlighting our friend Adam Knight in his book, Cowboy Ending. Check out Cowboy Ending, book one of the Overdrive series. You get the whole series if you want, available at Amazon. I think the whole series is out. I know he's written a couple of them. I don't want to speak for Adam there. But check out his books. And Adam is available on Amazon, and we highly recommend that. And also our buddy, Matty Gunner. Hey, Matty Gunner has released some new music. His band Mourner has a new song out called Truth. It's available now wherever you get your music, including places like SoundCloud, of course, Spotify, and Apple, who will pay out millions of dollars to him as well. We love Matty out there in the UK applying his trade. So please support those folks. Friends of the show, we're trying to support independent artists. We got Vermont Mike here. Alan Smithy is here. Spending Big Lou, again, in Jacksonville. Says, I spent about an hour this afternoon bringing all my outside stuff in the garage. Of course, it means that nothing's going to happen here. Yeah, right? If you're prepared, that's a good thing, right? That's a good thing. I always have, when I get a little weird, I mean, I'm always weird, but when I feel a little sense of dread, whether I'm getting on an airplane, maybe there's a pass if you're driving from my hometown outside Santa Barbara. Before you get LA, there's San Marcos Pass. It's a highway, 154, I believe, and you can take it. You can get out to the Chumash Casino and everything, big lake out there, everything. It's a better road now, but as a kid growing up, it was one of those roads where like bad things happen on it all the time. And so sometimes I'll take it. I'll get that sense of dread. And I give into the dread. Like, I'm like, I better send a last text that says, I love you. Because, if you do that, it's like a force field. Nothing bad will happen. So if you get on that plane and say, if I don't see you again, I love you. It's a safety net. So Lou, maybe that's what you're doing. Put the stuff in the garage. It's a safety net. It's a safety net. I actually experienced that sense of dread recently, last month, actually. Mark Ellis and I did our San Francisco comedy show, and on the way back, we did the cutoff. You go from the 101 to the 5, and it's the highway. It's the James Dean Highway. and you get to the two highways that intersect where James Dean died. And it's again, road conditions are better, but it's still basically kind of an unprotected 2-lane highway type of situation. And in the back of the head, both Mark and I were like, let's speed up and get off this road, or go very slow, which then might cause more problems. Addie says, basically says, Cad, you're not crazy. I've sent several last texts from turbulent plane rides that landed safely. I think it's okay. Alan Smith says, is that where Lost Hills is, Cad? Brown material. I don't know. It's not Lost Hills. Maybe. I don't know. But it is like Neverland Ranch was that kind of out there. It's past Solvang and everything like that. It's on that area. So maybe Brown Material Road. I don't know. I'll have to look that up. So if you're just joining us, welcome to a Canuck edition of the Blathering Live. As we're hanging out, we're live on Twitch, live on Facebook. This is like a radio show from the past, but in the modern day. So please call into the show, leave a comment. Let's ask questions, and also let's answer that poll if you're on YouTube. I keep on my back end. I keep switching over to Reed's YouTube channel. I got to go to mine. I love putting the daily the weekly poll, the poll of the night on the show. And if you call in, you got to answer this first. I want to hear your call. I want to take your question. It could have it to do with anything, but I want to hear your answer as well. I put out what is your least favorite household chore, and you know it can tie into your life as a kid, your career as a kid when you had to do the chores for your allowance money. But it definitely is about adult chores. And you could only put 4 choices. So I put dusting, which is specific because that's my answer. Washing dishes, which is daily, if not hourly. Yard work. Now, I don't necessarily consider gardening yard work. Gardening could be a hobby, an interest. But I put yard work in general. You can go with that. Laundry. And then, and Laserbolt points out one that I wanted to put on there. Cleaning the bathroom. But I don't know. I think that might be, I don't know a lot of people who enjoy cleaning the bathroom, but I do know people who enjoy laundry or folding or yard work, washing the dishes, dusting. For me, dusting ties into some childhood, I don't know, I'll say trauma, but it's not serious trauma. Dusting was my chore as a kid. My sister had some other stuff, but I had dusting, and my mom is very particular. She still is. Clean house, beautiful house, gorgeous house. Her brother, my uncle Jim, same thing. Very, the joke, the insensitive joke would be OCD neat back in the day, but we treat that with a little more kindness, thank God. But they were that. Hospital corners clean, as they were often referred to. And so I would dust. I'd get up on a Saturday morning, have my Honey Nut Cheerios. That was the one sugar cereal we were allowed. Watch some cartoons, maybe Muppet Babies, and then I had to dust. And I couldn't get on with my day until I completed the dusting. And then my mom would check. And it was like a Disney villain character. The old, almost white glove kind of smudge check. So when I, reached adulthood, and, stopped having to I didn't do the chores. I was 20 in morning radio doing the chores. Maybe I should have helped out more. But once I got released from allowance and I didn't do the chores, which must be a bad day for parents. When they're like, damn it, the kids are too old. Now it's back to us. We got to handle it. Then I moved to LA. And the moment I got on my own as an adult, living in apartments, houses all over LA, dusting became the thing I hate. And so I thought about this today. I had some time. I had a handyman here doing some repairs, and I couldn't really do any work. So I took the time to clean my office here a little bit. You can't tell. It is 35% less dusty. I even cleaned the overhead fan. I got up there with the ladder and cleaned the fan. Did good work today. But I hate mother bleeping dusting. Alan Smithy agrees with me. Dusting sucks. Dust is the worst. Stop shutting your skid cells, people. Yeah. Everywhere. Checking in on Hurricane. Look, and if Big Lou just wants escapism tonight and doesn't want to worry about the weather, I get it. But I have been a little macabre on this, not hoping for the worst, just kind of watching this again with people like Big Lou, with people like Alden, some family and friends that I have in this path. A little concerned, So just kind of checking in and watching on all the things here tonight. Big Lou, if you get a chance, call in. Let us know how you feel it. Let us know how the prep's going. Take us through how you pulled everything into the garage. Checking in here, too, on Reed Timmer's live stream. Really love Reed, as I said earlier today. So Ken Plume says, dusting is my life. Yeah, see, if you're a collector of action figurines and Lego and all that kind of, physical media, that's the bane of my existence now, is all my Star Wars books and physical media that's on display. God, just attracts that dust. Drives me effing insane. All right, we got your calls. We got some folks lined up. If you want to call into the show, you know what to do. Become a YouTube channel member. And then also, if you want to become a Patreon supporter, that'd be cool. I'm not saying you gotta. I'm just saying, I'd love to see some movement on my Patreon page again. I'm putting up the pop rockin' radio. I can say the name of my own show. I can say that. There we go. All right. Also, what is happening? Big Lou, you just text me, and I'm trying to get that to you. And for some reason, your email's not showing up. Nope, you're not named Big Brother Kent. Text me your email again, Big Lou. Text me your email. We're doing good here tonight. What do you want? SMG 311 says the folding and hanging, not the washing. Yeah. That should be the subset. Laundry. Jared says, "Fuck it, we'll do it live." Sometimes I gotta slow down and remember this is truly a radio show. And there'd be sometimes on air I'd be fumbling for paper back in the K-Bear days. My Pennsylvania radio show on Pop Rockin' Radio, now not live. Pop Rockin' used to be live. Big Lou, send me your. I've sent several emails to Big Lou. That's what's frustrating. I hate that too. That's going to be a poll next week. What's the most frustrating thing about Gmail? And it's sometimes that you know the person. Yeah, see, Lou just texted me this. I have it in there. Why didn't it pop up? This is frustrating. Frustrating. I'm not going to share Big Lou's email address here unless Big Lou wants it. Yeah. Then I typed it in. Then it popped up. Then I just typed it in completely, and it's like, oh, did you mean this? Son of a bitch. I hate that. All right. Let's get to some calls. What Big Lou's lining up. We got our good buddy, Addie, calling in. Addie says, I have my answer ready for that one. So, Addie, before we get to your question, you got to answer our question here tonight. What is your least favorite chore?
It's doing dishes because I'm bad at it.
Dishes are currently my domain in the house. So I like this conversation. What are you bad about? What's bad about the dishes in your skill set here?
The dishes are not bad. I am bad at the dishes.
Okay.
I frequently have to wash them more than once.
See, I get accused of this, but I'm a speed dishwasher. My first job was as a dishwasher, so I could say I was a professional dishwasher. But I had the big thing and the high-powered hose. But sometimes things get through. It's like the Death Star. A little snub fighter can find its way through. So don't beat yourself up for it.
No, I mean, I found a workaround. I only buy things that are dishwasher safe.
Okay, see, we don't have a dishwasher currently.
Then the only things I have to rewash are the pots and pans.
Okay, but what do you feel? All right, let's dive in. I want to hear your question here tonight. I want to get to what you want to talk about. But what is it about your strategy, your style, your approach that is causing these dishes or pans, more specifically, to need to be rewashed? What's the breakdown?
Ken, if I knew the answer to that question, I don't think I'd be bad at doing the dishes anymore.
All right. Okay. Fair. Don't
I
use
would
your
be able to
professor
fix.
speak on me.
I'd
Don't
be
use your
able to fix the problem.
don't use your professor brain on me. Look, is it a pre-rinse? Because I think the most underrated part of dishwashing, the key to success, is the pre-rinse. Almost to the point where you're washing that thing before you wash it, but then you let it soak after that, if you can have the room in your sink, of course.
That might be it. It's frequently just like, oh, I didn't realize that got on there too. Like it's like, when you
What are
rub
you
your
cooking?
hand.
What are you making?
You
Eggplant,
rub.
squash,
I,
mac and cheese,
no,
pasta sticks.
nothing.
Pasta's a sticker.
But just like, you know how, like, okay, so for example, if I
Mm-hmm.
make pancakes and I take the stainless steel bowl that I mixed the pancake batter in, without
Uh-huh.
fail, I will have missed a spot.
Okay. Okay.
Like it's on the outside and I didn't realize it dripped there or something. Like
Mm,
I without fail, I will miss a spot hand washing dishes. Or it was
got it.
greasier than I thought and I didn't spend enough time scrubbing it. Like it just, and
Okay.
I've lived in the South, so I have a deep-seated fear of bugs, so the dishes have to be very clean.
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. And bear with me, folks, if I'm having internet problems. I'm looking a little choppy on my screen, but no hurricane out here in Burbank, but just bad Burbank internet. Yeah, no, yeah. SMG's pasta and cereal, stage 5 clingers, and I feel you, Addie, too. Something gets on it, or what I do sometimes, if I'm holding it, I'll forget to wash the part where I'm holding it, and then that's where the
Exactly.
sauce hides. Happens all the
Or
time to me.
when you picked it up, you got the sauce on it, and then you put the sauce somewhere the sauce wasn't to start with because now it's on your thumb and you grab it and it
Right.
dishwasher or nothing. Now, unfortunately, not everything can go in the dishwasher. Like I do have a favorite coffee mug. It's not dishwasher safe. That has to,
Well, and
it
we
happens.
won't have 2 hour. Yeah, we won't have 2 hour conversation about dishes, but we do have a dishwasher, but it's one of those old school portable dishwashers. So it's a full size dishwasher, but you have to roll it
Oh.
over to the sink, hook it up to the
Mm-hmm.
sink, turn on leave the water running for 2 hours, and I don't think it has the oomph that a dishwasher needs. And then if you don't pre-rinse, it was a big argument in our house when we moved into this house. The pre-rinse. And
Oh,
I
you
don't
got to
think a lot of people.
pre-rinse.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people want to put the effort into the pre-rinse, and so then they blame the dishwasher for the failures.
The pre-rinse isn't even hard.
Addie with a hot
Just,
take.
just, just
So there you
rinse.
go.
Like that is like the least effort.
Yeah, at SMGS, it's going to be 2025. How can everything not be dishwasher safe at this point? That is actually a very fair question. Also, shout out
That's an
to Sean
excellent
Monk.
question.
Yeah,
Some of it is I inherited it from my mother, and it's from like the 80s.
yeah. See, there you go. You get that Tupperware stained with spaghetti sauce. Sean Monk, new channel member. Thank you, Sean, for being here. Give us a call. All right, Addie. I'm also shutting down some tabs. I might be watching too many things live, so while I'm streaming live, so I am going to shut down Reed Timmer and CNN. We'll keep the Weather Channel up, just in case we need to go there. But Addie, what's on your mind tonight? What's your question?
So, I'm on my mind tonight. I am looking for a distraction. So, some of us are looking for distractions from hurricanes. I'm looking for a distraction because I'm currently on a medical mystery tour and we're running out of non good answers for things. So,
Oh, okay. For
we're
yourself.
for myself.
Got it.
So
Got it. Okay. I
we're
feel
looking
that.
for distractions tonight.
Okay. So what's your
And
thought? What's your question? Or do you need
so
distractions from us?
tonight's question I pulled out of a hat. I have a hat full of fun icebreakers for my students on the first day of
Okay.
classes.
Icebreakers.
What is the best way to eat a potato?
Baked. Oh, no. Ooh. Mashed. I literally am such a giant fan of mashed potatoes. I could just eat mashed potatoes with gravy on Thanksgiving and be fine. But when I get that hankering for a baked potato, ooh, nothing can quench that but going to like Wood Ranch and getting a loaded baked potato.
That is good. I asked my students this question this week too. Can I share some of their answers? Because
Please.
some of them are eating gourmet potatoes, and I'm jealous.
Gourmet potatoes. SMG. Let me
So
go through some. Yeah, go through your answers. I'm gathering ours here. Okay.
one of my students said the best way to eat a potato is hand roasted in your living room fireplace with butter, cheese, bacon, and sour cream.
That's an answer of privilege. I'll say that's an answer of privilege. Not of wealth and status, but of youth and time. I don't have the time to hand roast a potato over a fire. I don't have I have a fire pit.
I don't have a fireplace. So
see.
Also, if I did, I wouldn't be roasting potatoes in my living room. Like,
yeah, yes, yeah.
I think that's an odd choice.
It potentially is an odd choice. I'd like to know how many people in the live audience have roasted food on their own fire. Not a fire pit outside. My fire pit has a grill you can add, but I'm talking fire up. The Santa's coming down the chimney fireplace in your house and cook food in it. I'd like to know. Maybe I'm being judgmental.
I think we did it once when I was a kid. No, Ken, we had a really bad ice storm and we lost power for days. So I think we did cook in the fireplace.
Isn't that it's a Jennifer Lawrence film, right? You ice storm and they cooked in the fireplace. I think that's what it is. Jared asked, "Where the bleep do you teach?" That might be, yeah, that might be a good question. My
students are a bit privileged. I'll just leave it at that.
Checking on the poll, by the way, dusting 22%, washing dishes 35%, yard work 30%. So dishes is now taking the lead, and laundry at 13%, 23 votes in. So if you're just tuning in here, please go to the poll. Okay. So what other answers? We can't stop at this highly privileged hand roasted potato.
So my other answer so far, this student is from Ireland.
Okay. Well, okay. That's all right.
So it's almost as bad as if they were from Idaho.
Yeah. Yep. They got some thoughts on potatoes in Ireland. Yep.
They do. New baby potatoes from Wexford, boiled with the skins, in plenty of butter. Because, and she goes on to say, it's good for the heart and soul and keeps you full for the day. Okay.
Yeah, that seems like the answer I'd expect from someone from Ireland and potatoes. Boiled, skin on. There's a lot going on there. I don't know if I like the boiled thing. I'll give it a try. The key is butter. That's the thing.
Yeah.
That's why potatoes might in the end be so bad for us, is because, here's an excuse to take an entire bar of butter, entire stick of butter, just melt it right onto that effer. Trying to watch my language for Jake around here. Big Lou says,
I'm a fan of a good baked potato.
Yeah, a good baked potato. Big Lou, who I trust, says pan-fried country potatoes with bacon, some over-medium eggs, and melted cheese. Well, we're all going to have breakfast at Big Lou's house tomorrow, because that is a great. That's a great. I like
Big
everything
Lou's
Big Lou's.
Making me think of Thanksgiving. My mom used to make this great potato casserole.
I like that. I like potatoes in many forms. Scallop potatoes, underrated. Haven't had them for a while. SMG says baked and fully loaded. Jared says always mashed. Laserbolt says mashed or fries. And mashed again. Jared comes back. Jared's so excited about mashed, he's got to answer twice. He's shaking his head there in the queue. He's like, yep, you jerk. All right. A couple other answers here, Addie, before we get a Big Lou check-in here.
That's all I've got so far. Only two of them have answered.
Hey,
my colleague from Minnesota said tater tots.
I just brought up Ken Plume's answer, which is properly crispy tots. Yeah, shout out to my friend Dan at the Food in My Beard. I have his very large cookbook that's just tater tots, and spectacular options there. So tots, hashed is an underrated form of potato.
Now I'm curious that there's that many different ways to cook a tater tot.
I'm telling you, I wish Dan was here. I have to reach out to Dan, tell him to maybe get him call into the show, because it's no less than 50 different versions of tater tots, and they're all like, like you look at it and you're like, oh yeah, this is gonna come home with me. Yeah, yeah. So there you go. Addie, I hope we distracted you just long enough. Stay tuned, and we'll avoid bad news, and we'll only talk about potatoes and dishes. And, well, maybe not the dishes, but we appreciate you calling in.
Thanks, Ken.
All right, Addie, check it in there. And if in the audience, if you're watching live, how bad is the quality of my stream right now? Because the back end is saying great. Everything on YouTube is saying excellent condition, Ken. Good job you on conquering technology. But what I'm staring at right now is very choppy. It's like trying to play Fortnite when the server goes. So bear with me. Laserbolt says looks good. I trust Laserbolt because he flies drones and takes beautiful pictures with him. Speaking of beautiful pictures, Big Lou's here, calling in as a weather correspondent in a little calmer Jacksonville. Big Lou, how you doing, buddy?
It's gonna rain.
Gonna rain.
No, I'm good, man. It's been blustery, past since about 4 o'clock, and it's been raining most of the day. But as far as like any true signs of the storm, not really, not yet. We'll probably get some of those outer bands.
Yeah.
Late tonight, probably, depending on historically when the eye wall hits landfall, the storm slows down.
Right.
So it's supposed to traverse, the width of Florida overnight tonight. So this,
right.
As Anakin said, this is where the fun begins.
This is where the fun begins. This is the key stretch of time, right? This is the key stretch of time.
Yeah. Especially down, further south and stuff like that. Luckily, I say luckily for me, and it's one of those situations where you can appreciate the people in the purge, because you never want bad things to happen, but you're really glad they're not happening to you. Type of a situation.
Hey, it's a real thing.
Yeah. Yeah. But as far as what I'm anticipating here, high tropical storm, maybe Cat 1 level stuff. Just enough to, make you pucker a little bit.
Well, yeah. Well, I was gonna, if you're okay to talk about it, you and I, we even texted, we talked about it on the show last couple of weeks, 2 weeks ago when Helene was coming through, and you and I have even texted about it. West Coast, I got earthquakes, and you got the hurricanes. And these days anything can be anywhere. In fact, a year ago, I had to flee Joshua Tree because a hurricane was coming there. So, the weird times where we're going to get all sorts of weather fun. But for us, earthquakes, outside of the jokes of you've made wonderful jokes. Hey, if it's not Cat 3 or above, I'm not too worried. I'm like, if it's not a 6.0 or above, I'm not worried in terms of earthquakes. Our prep is all just kind of, you got to remember to have something somewhere to get it. And quite frankly, I don't think more than 10% of LA is prepared for an earthquake. I really don't.
Right.
And I dealt with it from a public safety perspective. I always do tell people the fire department ain't coming for you. What the fire department does in an earthquake is they get in their rigs and they drive around their area looking for the worst area, and they go to that. You're on your own. Yeah. You're on your own. And there's not, after that, there's not much you can do. You have what I would fear. That's why maybe I texted you 2 weeks ago, a little worried for you, is it's the dread of anticipation, and the prep and all those things. How do you manage that as a Floridian?
Well, I know for me, it's just a matter of there are just things that I have in my house at all times. Like, I'm fortunate enough that I have a decent sized house with a full garage. In my garage, I have a freezer that I can put, stuff out there. And part of what I keep in there at all times is a case of bottled water, frozen in the bottom of my freezer. That way, if power does go out, that much mass of frozen water will keep things frozen a little bit longer. I have a generator that I will top up with gas once a year and just make sure that it's ready to go and stuff like that. And I
got to, quite frankly, I have to think about getting a tiny generator of some kind, because that's one of the things in a quake too. If a major one hits, you are going to be without that too. We don't think. See, we don't. The thing is, we have in the West Coast here. Our privilege is you don't know when or where. It's like Jesus returning. We don't know the time nor the place, and you just kind of it's just a lot of complacency. Where you all live with this, unfortunately. We have maybe more worry about the fires if you're in a fire area. I am not. But I always say if one of those wildfires hits me, it's going to be a fire that we have not experienced before, which, in these times, that could happen.
Hey, it's so funny how the juxtaposition of our situations, because where your concern is fire, mine is flooding. And I'm in a quasi flood zone. Jacksonville's broken up into different categories depending on how close you are to the St. Johns River, which runs right through the middle of town or the city.
Yeah.
I am fairly close to the river. I'm a couple of miles from it, as opposed to some of my other friends and stuff that are, 15 miles from the river. But where I'm at, my neighborhood is relatively close to the river. My specific subdivision is kind of halfway down a decent sized hill. So the chances of me getting flooding specifically are relatively low. And if it does kind of flood up a little bit, it'll drain right off. And my house is one of the few houses in the neighborhood that has a crawl space. My grandfather, when he built the house, specifically made that choice because he didn't want to run the risk of, number one, flooding. Number two, if plumbing goes wrong, you don't want to have to dig under the slab. You can just crawl under there and do it. So, there's a couple of things that are like in my favor as far as that goes.
Sorry to cut you. I didn't think about the crawl space thing. We have a crawl space. I think every house I've had in LA has had a crawl space. I don't know if that's more West Coast. When I grew up in Orange County, we actually had a basement, which is very rare in Southern California, like a fully functional basement. But I didn't think about that. So good to know. Build a house with a crawl space. Now, also, by the way, Big Lou, it seemed you told a great story of your grandfather being prepared for future natural disasters and plumbing disasters. I would have also liked to have heard that your grandfather was running whiskey during a certain era and he needed to hide things down there. Okay, that would have been cool.
Ken, I'm going to tell you a little story right now, and this is 100% true. When my grandfather moved down from Detroit in the 50s, after the war, he and my grandmother got married, moved down here.
Okay.
And they opened a grocery store. It was called Louie's Market. I was named after my grandfather.
Okay.
And in Jacksonville at that time, the Syrian mafia was pretty prevalent.
Yeah.
You say that in jest, but one of the things that I found when I was going through their shed many years ago was an old still. Copper still that, moonshine making, the whole thing. And we found 3 bottles of what's called Udit, which is basically Arab moonshine. And my great-grandfather had made those and put them aside for weddings for his great-grandchildren to get when they got married. When my sister got married, my mom was walking around with this moonshine and a shot glass, giving it to people. So you're not far off on that, but
love it. I love it. I was only joking, Lou. I don't want to indict anybody. I don't want to do it. Okay.
He is well resting for many decades at this point. So
there you go. There you go.
And real quick, just to answer your poll.
Yeah, please answer your poll. Your least favorite chore.
Yard work is least favorite. I'm very, very fortunate that as far as dishes go and laundry goes, it's just me. So I don't have, loads and loads of laundry, and the dishes don't matter a whole lot to me. So yard work is my least favorite.
Well, look, and also where you live, that humidity, the simple act of mowing a lawn or something might kill me. So
it's the worst. I hate it.
There you go. Well, Big Lou checking in, and we appreciate it. Check out Big Lou's Clubhouse and Big Lou's Workshop.
Yes.
Do you have any generator content on Big Lou's Workshop?
I do not. No, my generator is just large enough that I can keep my refrigerator running and charge my devices and stuff like that. It's not a
There you go.
not a real big thing. So
Well, I'm just saying, you give 5 keys to a good generator or something like that's all I'm saying. I'm just producing content for you. All right, Big Lou, thanks for checking in. All right, buddy, stay safe.
Yeah, man, I'll keep you posted.
All right, thank you. Big Lou out there in Jacksonville right now, looking at a storm heading his way, and it is about. I'm looking at weather.com right now, and we are. I think they updated it there. Boom. Let me bring that up. Yeah, I think we're looking. But this is also what's in the back of our mind. But we're also having fun here tonight on this here program. I also want to remind you, if you missed it up top of the show, we got a couple friends with some great art out there. I want you to check on our buddy Adam Knight and his book Cowboy Ending, available at Amazon. Relatable characters, realistic problems, fantastical results. This needs to get optioned as a TV show. Check out Adam Knight's work. I almost said Big Lou because I'm thinking about Big Lou at Big Lou's Workshop. Also, our buddy Matty Gunner, his band Mourner, released their new song Truth today. It's available now. SoundCloud, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your music, and support independent artists. That's what we love around here. We got Mike Fink. I was just thinking of Mike Fink today. Gotta text you, Mikey. I've got a coyote warning notice in my neighborhood, and that immediately made me think of you, and it's been too long. So good to have Mike Fink here. Love me some Mike Fink, which sounds, I don't know how that sounds, but I love me some Mike Finks in my heart. Addie updated us, has made landfall in Sarasota, the home at one point of the late great Macho Man Randy Savage. Couple calls. We got Jared. We got Jonathan. Then we're going to go with NFL picks with Steve. Though Steve could get on here and be like, nah, I just want to talk about dusting. All right, Jared, the TIE pilot, is here. Love talking to Jared. Love talking to all of you as always. But Jared, you can't ask a question till you answer. What is your least favorite chore?
Dusting.
Oh, you're with me.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's just, I mean, I've had, the jobs of the dishwasher before, so to me it's whatever. Laundry, again, I'm autistic and ADHD, so it's the piles of doom. So
it's the piles of doom. I feel okay. I feel that. I feel that. Yeah. Dusting too. Just the thing about dusting, I did it today, and I felt so accomplished, Jared. But in the back of my head, I'm like, within a week, this accomplishment is gone. It's gone.
Yeah, the only time I really get dusting is when I get manic and start noticing my D&D figures are tough to see.
Oh, it's the worst, right? I have an Infant's Nest and Ray Skywalker and Biker Scout Black Series figure up. They're all on their rides. They're all on their little individual rides up there. It's on the shelf right above my camera. And Infant's Nest is almost like a shade of gray. So we dusted her today.
Yeah, I've got right over it. I don't know if you can see over my shoulder. Those are all dragons. That big pile of plastic.
You do. Love that. So dusting it is. You and I are in the dusting bin. Hi, that's almost wordplay. What's on your mind, Jared?
Well, like last week, I got a couple options for you. I've got a fun little sports question and an interesting little music rant.
An interesting music. Okay, ask me the sports question, but I'm intrigued by this music rant.
All right. What sports moment that connected with you personally the most, that is like a good core memory? And I'll give you an example. For me, it was the 2011 Eastern Conference Finals for the Stanley Cup in the NHL. It was the Bruins versus Tampa Bay Lightning, Game 5, and it's what's referred to as the save. Tim Thomas, all the way out, just gets it with the last tip of his stick diving back towards the net. And
yes,
it was one of those moments where it wasn't the most pivotal point at all, but it was such a thing. I'm like, they're not losing a goddamn thing. They're going all the way, and they did.
Love it. I love that. Oh, hold on. Big Lou got marked as a spammer in our chat? Big Lou, are you okay? Did I accidentally ban you? Looking
Naughty,
good.
naughty.
Looking good on our end here. I could be pressing a bunch of buttons. All right. So the moment that so this isn't just something that you like witnessed. Like a memory, like I saw Jose hit his second home run of the year, 1988. But that was my first home run I witnessed as a kid watching major leagues. But I think it's tough as a Miami Dolphin fan because all these moments might be in the regular season and not the postseason. Marino's fake spike, the Leon Lett blocked kick flub on Thanksgiving Day. Was that 92 or 93? But I don't know. Like, I think for me, the one that stands out the most that is formative and is an answer to why I love baseball is outside of my Yankees winning, and I have a 1996 Charlie Hayes squeezing that pop foul ball from Mark Lemke. And we get the win in 1996, and it's easy now because the Yankees became a dynasty again. But that win in '96, I never thought was going to happen as a young baseball fan. But for me, I was watching the Kirk Gibson home run live in the '88 World Series of Dennis Eckersley. I was an A's fan at the time. I had played Little League for the A's, not the Oakland A's, but the Arroyo Grande A's. It's about the magic. It's about the moment. It's about, as Vin Scully said, in a year of the impossible, the improbables happened, and it was this like unbelievable storybook moment that just. And I'm 12 when this is happening, and it's in my blood. That moment's in my blood. I often just rewatch it on YouTube. I watch the entire from Mike Davis getting a walk and stealing second. And Gibson coming up and Fallon tips. I watch the whole sequence sometimes just relax. It takes me back to certainly an innocent time and a younger time. But that's why I come back. And I've been watching a lot of playoff baseball this week, and the magic is there. Like you feel like the Phillies and Mets had a crazy game the other day. The Dodgers almost coming back with that grand slam. I love that magic. I love that. And so that's a formative thing and got to watch it live. But wasn't happy because when Gibson hit the home run, fly ball to right field, she is gone. This is going to be a home run. She's gone. That whole thing, I threw my A's hat. I had an A's hat on, and I threw it on the ground. I stomped it. And I loved Dennis Eckersley. I had hair like Dennis Eckersley. I had the relief pitcher mullet. I looked like Dennis Eckersley minus the full mustache. I had the little 12-year-old wispy mustache. So it's a formative memory.
I'm so glad that you're in my generation did not have cell phones to capture all of our mistakes.
Yeah, let me tell you. Yeah, not a lot of photos. Like I have a Little League baseball card I can pull up from my Facebook page.
Probably same.
All right, hit me with that music, Rand. We got some. If you got a story out there, a sports moment that stayed with you, let us know in chat.
So, I'm a guitar player, and I've recently gotten more into what's known as effects pedals, which is hilarious because I've been playing guitar for almost 30 years. But why is it? Oh yeah, why is it though that there's two ways that they'll put the little writing on the pedals? It's either a very nice, clear, telling you what the pedal does. Like there's a company called Boss. Their pedals are called like distortion, overdrive, chorus, the name of the effect it is doing. Very nice, very clean. Then you got ones that just say Timmy. I'm not even kidding.
What does Timmy do?
I honestly don't know.
Okay. That's a good answer.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like,
have you tried it?
No, I was actually, what brought this up is I was just doom scrolling on Guitar Center looking at different pedals, and I started to be like, what do these all do? Like, there's one that has no writing on it. It's just pink with the little white sketching of the panther. So the Pink Panther pedal.
Okay. See, Jared, I only play a tambourine. So I don't know. There's no effects on my tambourine. In fact, I haven't even seen the tambourine in years. It's in a box somewhere. But does anyone out there know? Laserbolt is saying bass. If you look at Laserbolt's profile video, he looks like he riffed with Jeff Skunk Baxter, the Doobie Brothers in '72. So I bet he's played some guitar. If Brian Tiller, our buddy Brian Tiller, was feeling a little better, he might actually get in there with an answer too. But I know he's not feeling well lately.
Oh yeah.
All
It's
right,
just
yeah.
it's just so weird to me because yeah, and they're not cheap. A lot of these, like I've got one literally on a tab right here. It's a $300 pedal. It's called Little Dipper. It doesn't say that on the pedal. It just has a little drawing of the Little Dipper, and basically it's got three knobs: ascension, inclination, diffraction. I don't know what this thing does.
Diffraction should be the name of a band. Laserbolt says all you ever need is a Boss heavy metal pedal.
Yep,
We got
and
two.
they-
Michael McCarcel is a drummer, and Big Lou says been a drummer for many bands since the mid '90s. You know what, Big Lou? I won't believe that till you share a photo. So, all right, okay.
Yeah.
Jared, I wish I had an answer for you, but I appreciate your. In fact, your rant gets a mic drop sound effect because maybe someone will figure that out. Leave a comment later if you're watching.
Oh God, I can't wait to hear all the Matty Gunners and all what they would say.
Yeah, maybe Maddie. If Maddie's busy celebrating the release of his music, and it's also like 3 a.m.
Yes.
out there. Jared, thanks for calling in. I appreciate it. I'm gonna get
course.
some answers to your question here, and I
Yeah.
appreciate a great question like that.
All right, everybody
Jared.
stay safe.
All right, thanks. Jared the Tide Pilot checking in. Some of your favorite moments out there. Jonathan, we're going to take a call from Jonathan here. My personal favorite is Ovi lifting the Stanley Cup for the first time with remember the Titans music in the background and my Nats win the World Series and saving baseball from the Astros. I remember that. Very good, 2019. Hugo had the same experience about the Kirk Gibson home run there. Big Lou says Gators winning the national championship in 1997 Sugar Bowl against SFU and losing to them earlier in the year. Was that the Warfel year, Big Lou? There was an offensive lineman on the Gators during that time. I believe it was the Gators named Todd Holland. And I used to produce comedy shows with him in L.A. About 15 years ago. And he played with Warfel. I remember him. Great guy, 6'7", beast of a man. Will Dixon says, sports moment, Tennessee Vols winning the Sugar Bowl in 85 over Miami, 35-7. Will Dixon from the 80s checking in. Been a lifelong fan ever since. Both my parents went to UT, so it was genetic despite the fact that I went to art school. Love that there. If you got a favorite sports moment that stuck with you, Big Lou says, yes, it was. Will Dixon says, yes, it was. Danny Werfel was the best. Yeah, that was my friend Todd. I haven't talked to Todd in years, to be clear, but my friend Todd played on that team, offensive lineman. Good stuff there. All right, we got Jonathan calling in here. Jonathan, and then we're going to go to Steve after that. But Jonathan, what's on your mind, buddy? Thanks for becoming a new Patreon member, returning to the fold. I just got the notification. Appreciate that, buddy.
You're welcome, Cam. You're welcome. And thank you for answering my favorite sports moment. And I still stand by that to this day.
It's a great one.
Person.
It's a great one.
Yeah. Growing up with playoff failures with both these teams right here, finally get the satisfaction where we finally got a championship.
Yeah, and I met you in 2019. That's when I first met you and your dad out in D.C. at Mark Ellison show.
Actually, 2021, actually.
2021? Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, we were out there in 2019, too, when the Nationals was there. So good for you, man. Good win. Nationals are a good team. As an Expos fan, I still have a place in my heart for the Nationals.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's on your mind, buddy? What's on your mind?
Yeah. Couple things. And I know you kind of want to ask some people, like, what your least favorite chore is. So
yeah, I want to know yours. Yeah, what's yours?
Mowing the lawn.
God, yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
I don't have to now. Our landlord has a very great landscaper that works for us, but that was my chore in my early 20s. That was when I was in college and stuff and in working radio. I lived at home, so I had to do the lawn. And yeah, it could be meditative, Jonathan. Like you can get in your head and just kind of find a zen spot. But also, when you had to dump it into a bag, and it was a lot. I didn't like it.
Yeah, like and the frustrating part about that is you don't know which day. You could tell it's gonna rain the next day after you mow the lawn. That's the more frustrating thing is. And then when you think you do know, wait till it rains over, and you think it is, it don't usually happens. And it happens the other way and vice versa.
Yep.
Yeah.
There you go. 8984M says least favorite chore, cutting tree branches, the sap getting on your clothes. Oh yeah, we had a while Francis stepped in some sap on a walk yesterday. We had to wash our feet for like 30 minutes to get that sap off. Jonathan, what's on your mind? What's your question tonight, buddy?
Okay. Well, I was gonna. I remember it's sort of a follow-up question of two, actually. A
Okay.
follow-up about the last time I called in, I was talking about my sister wrote the Life from New York book, and she finished it like a couple days ago.
Oh yeah, so I'll recap for the audience. Your sister had read. You had got your sister the Live from New York book, which was an oral history of Saturday Night Live, come out a few years ago. Got it. So your sister finished it.
Yes, and
Which
basically, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
no, what'd she think?
She liked the book, and basically, she told me the one surprising thing about it, and I'm very curious. Your
Mm-hmm.
point of view about this is
Sure.
Laura Michaels leaving after the first 5 years, and she
Yeah.
didn't partially didn't know that. And if you
Mm-hmm.
read some like behind the scenes about how he got up to this point, or
Mm-hmm.
basically
Mm-hmm.
the Fred Silverman part of it, when
Mm-hmm.
Al
Yeah.
Franken basically called Fred Silverman out behind Lawrence back without even knowing it.
Yeah. On Weekend
And
Update in 1980. Yeah.
yeah, and basically, and my sister told me that's a little surprising part of it. And basically, if you read about the replacement of Lauren Michaels, though, and basically the
Yeah.
audition process about the famous 1980 season, basically, and you read into it, it's more fascinating that
Yeah.
one, some of the do audition, surprised it kind of whiffed in hindsight, and also the one part of it which I found fascinating. I think is a bit of an SNL deep dive if you note this person's name, and in the book it kind of mentions it, called a guy named Neil Levy. Have you ever
Neil
heard of
Levy.
that name?
Yep. Yeah, I've definitely heard of Neil Levy behind the scenes at NPC. Yeah. No, it's
Was
great
Lauren
stuff.
Markle's was Lauren Markle's cousin, I believe.
Cousin.
I
Yep. He
and
keeps it in the family sometimes. He keeps it close, including I found out just hired his former assistant's daughter to be a cast member. But hey, let's not worry about nepo babies or nepo adjacent babies. All right, yeah. Oh, and 8984, I brought up this comment, says I did not know RDJ was on SNL. Yes, the 85-86 season. Robert Downey Jr., of course, his cousin Jim Downey is
Jim
one of the
Downey.
more successful and influential Saturday Night Live writers.
Yes.
There you go again. Well, to your question, I think it's interesting. I think a lot of people who know SNL history are aware that Michael stepped aside for 5 years, kind of focused on movies. Also had the new show that came out, which did lead to like Conan O'Brien being on the writing staff, and I think even
Smigel, I think. I
Smigel,
don't
Mark
know.
McKinney, Bruce McCullough, that kind of thing. Yeah, it's a fascinating thing, and how history. If he had never come back, I don't think SNL. In fact, that was the thing. Is Brandon Tartikoff had told Michaels after Dick Ebersol had left after the '84 season, and Lauren, if you don't come back, the show's done. And Lauren, 10 years in, was like, I'm not letting this show go. And came back, and I think and the show's been the solid ever since, and up and down as we know. But I mean, just the show has been SNL as formed in like 85, 86, 86, 87. It's been kind of a repeat of that process and that program
Yeah.
and that template. So I love it. It's fascinating. The Fred Silverman of it. Yeah, you're talking about Al Franken and his famous Al Franken speech on Weekend Update. And Gene Dominion comes in and kind of has that horrible season, 80-81. But there's some talented people involved in that cast, including the late great Gilbert Gottfried. But she was overmatched. It was just there was no way you were replacing. You were replacing a great man. You were replacing Bill Walsh if you're a 49er fan. You're replacing Vince Lombardi. It was too hard. And then I think Ebersol was a great pick. And I think there's some great years. I think some of my early favorite moments that still stand the test of time are from the Ebersol years, which Michaels has always had an adversarial relationship with those years. I think he kind of got over it. Eddie Murphy coming back to host was a great example of them kind of coming to terms over those years. But that's a fascinating side thing.
I found the episode was more fascinating because although he's never sort of like, and I think what the Dominion thing, what went wrong though, like she's never a writer. Like both of
Yeah.
them, they're never writers. But the clear difference with what Ebersol and Dominion is like Ebersol know the backbones of the show. At least he kind of co-created by as in
Yeah,
with Lorne Michaels.
he was. Yeah, he did. Yeah, essentially.
He kind of co-created, kind of helped on the machinations, how it worked. Well, never the
Yeah.
writing head is it. He kind of understand what matches, what worked, what didn't work. Did some experimentation during those years when he done it. Some of it
Sure.
did. So it
Yeah.
worked for the most part though. Like, and I kind of gave him credit. Like even 1 year, I brought like a Donahue back for a bit, and that kind of barely lasted very much.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, how he sort of like very unique. How try to go outside the box ideas, but still those sort of the
Love it.
format
I love, Jonathan, that you love your SNL history, man. You got it down, and it's after.
And also, thanks to YouTube, basically.
Yeah, thanks to YouTube, and I highly recommend Saturday Night Network, which is a YouTube channel that's growing right now.
I also subscribe to that show.
Yeah, they're good. They're good, and their broadcasting skills are wanting, but they put some good information out there, and I love their season recaps. They do great stuff. There was a time, if I had started over on YouTube, like if I'd gone back 12 years, I would have just done a history channel on SNL or something like that, or baseball history, and hyper focus. I used to know SNL history pretty specific, pretty in detail. All right, Jonathan, thanks for calling in, man. Yeah, from
I want to mention one last thing before I get out of here.
Okay, quickly, buddy, quickly.
Okay. All right. Want to mention one NFL pick. I want to mention one game and one particular game only.
Okay.
Washington Commanders versus the Baltimore Ravens, potentially the game of the week, and I'm hoping my hometown team, the Washington Commanders, might pull out the upset.
I'm with you. I'm a big fan of the Commanders right now. Love Jaden Daniels. Thank you, Jonathan. We appreciate that. Jonathan calling in. Check it in. We got an update on the storm. CNN just showed a tornado touchdown. Didn't see where. I'll try to bring that up. I had to shut down some stuff. I don't know. I'm having some. I checked AT&T yesterday, and AT&T fiber has still not crossed the street to my house. The GPA studios, which are currently the Internet Today studios, are enjoying fiber. You can upload an hour video in 5 seconds. I'm like across the street. I still don't have it. So Milton Lakes makes landfall as a monster storm. Yeah, not good over there. We are checking in. Thanks again to Big Lou calling in and updating us on the ground level over there in Jacksonville. From that, we're going to keep going here as we work our way through this night. If you want to call in, I know, Sean, you were calling in. You might have had to go. If you want to call back, I saw you in the queue. Get in there. Sean Monk just became a channel member, and we want to hear from you here on the show. Call in by becoming a channel member, or if you'd like to, you can go ahead and support on Patreon at patreon.com/catnapsuck and get Pop Rockin' Radio, which is now a radio show, an actual radio. Pop Rockin' Radio is on the radio on Hall of Fame Music Radio in Newcastle, Pennsylvania. But if you aren't in Pennsylvania or listening on the TuneIn Radio app at midnight Eastern every Sunday night, 9 Pacific Saturday night, you can go to Patreon and you could support and get every episode. It's a fun rock and roll radio show. I do other things on there as well. There you go. That is some business. But right now we got our friend Steve, who's bringing the business as I'm sweating to death in my studio. It's the whiskey, Steve. It's the whiskey.
How's it going, Ken? Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for being here, buddy. What's the scoop? What's the story? What's your chore that you hate?
Yeah, we'll do NFL picks soon, but let's talk chores first. So I've heard it a few times. My least favorite chore is definitely yard work, and I've got notes.
You've got notes on yard work. Without giving your address, what general area of the country do you live in?
Mid-Atlantic.
Mid-Atlantic. Okay, so you got a nice Mid-Atlantic accent. That's good. Okay.
We get 4 seasons a year, so it's
4 seasons in one day. I got it. Okay.
Anyway, so that's a great first point. Weather dependent yard work. You can't just decide I'm going to do this today because you have to make sure it's not pouring rain or 100 degrees or 0 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
You need designated clothes for it. No one wants to use yard work clothes for something else. So you don't need I don't have a dishwashing shirt, but I have a shirt to do yard work.
Oh, yeah. I have, I don't have this, Steve, because again, we're fortunate enough to have a hired landscaper every week, but I have a neighbor. I don't like this neighbor, by the way. I think he's mega, but he has a overall outfit that he puts on that is so uncomfortable. I don't know what to do from a distance. It makes me hot and uncomfortable.
Is it just overalls?
No, he's got something on underneath. He also walks around. He's a very fit man, and he lets the entire neighborhood know he works out in his front yard. It's a thing, but he also puts on these work overalls to mow his lawn. But anyways, that's a good point. My point is, you're right.
So I have 2 dogs, and that makes the yard very messy. You keep up with it. You gotta do what you can, but it's just another thing to do, right? Yeah.
You on daily or weekly poo-poo duty?
Oh, I can't. I have two big dogs. Doing it daily is just that's a lot. We go on walks, so we hope that we get it out of the way on the walk, and then you clean what's in the yard on the weekend.
Okay.
Let's be,
yeah. Look, I'm blessed to have a Chihuahua, so it's a far less strenuous activity for me.
Our yard is a decent size, so it's not like it's not icky. But anyway, moving on.
Yeah. Moving on from the dog poop.
Moving on. Dangerous wildlife. Just in the past month, I've had snakes and a bear in my backyard.
Get out of here. Okay. See, off air, I'm gonna get it. Now off air, I'm gonna need an address. I love bears, but I'm terrified of bears. I have a friend who lives in Tahoe, and he has a friend who I met, and his wife and kids came home from like dinner one night, and a bear was in their kitchen. That stuff terrifies me. How do you deal with bears when you're doing yard work?
Yeah, I mean, well, thankfully, I haven't encountered one while doing yard work, but just you don't have to worry about that when you're doing the dishes.
Right.
Except for that one guy, I guess, who found the bear in his house. But anyway.
That's true. He could have been coming home to do the dishes.
But snakes is absolutely terrible. Oh, so yeah, snakes. Yeah, just lots of snakes on the deck when it's hot. You never know if you're like going to walk out and there's going to be a snake that comes out of the grill. That's just, that's terrible. It's just, snakes.
I am Indiana Jones when it comes to snakes. I don't know if I can function. Like spiders, I used to dislike a lot more than I do now because Grace is terrified of them. So my job is the official spider remover from the house because we don't kill, we relocate the spiders. It's a relocation program that we offer them. So I'm less afraid of spiders, even black widows and brown widows that we get all the time. But snakes, if I opened up my barbecue grill and there was a effing snake there, Steve, a Ned Flanders scream wouldn't even describe what would happen.
So yeah, yard work sucks.
It does. Okay, these are excellent points. You made some. None of this happens with dishwashers, or dishwashing, or dusting, or bathroom. Yeah, you could find a snake if you're cleaning the bathroom if you're in Florida.
Folding is a close second, but I still yard work by a mile. Anyway.
Yeah. Okay, that's
ready
great.
For picks?
Ready for NFL picks. It's time for NFL picks. Steve does this every week. And the great thing is I make my picks. And other than the Dolphins game, I don't remember what I picked. So Steve informs me what I did last week.
Exactly. So, yeah, we'll talk about the Dolphins in a second because we have an interesting scenario this week. But last week, we billed it as the Week of Redemption Part 2, and you delivered as you delivered. You were 3-2 on the week, Ken. You were positive. We made money last week. We're chipping away at the old overall record. So you were in 3-2 for week 5. You're now 9-11 overall for the season.
9-11. Look at this, Vegas. I'm ready for you. Okay. What did I do last week? I got the Dolphin win somehow, some way.
You won on the Dolphins. You won on the Chiefs. You lost on the Niners. That was a big upset. You lost on the Cowboys and the Steelers at the very last second.
Oh, right. Yes.
And you won on the Vikings in London.
Which devastating effects for those Jets. I love that vaccine denier Aaron Rodgers is just creating so much chaos that people are going to start hating him. I love it. Love it. Good stuff.
So, like I said, 9-11 for the season. So this week, week 6, 5 picks. You can absolutely pull ahead and be making money on the year. So let's win some money. So speaking of 5 picks and speaking of your Dolphins, your Dolphins are on a bye week this week. So I have 2 options for you.
Okay.
I'll give you the free W. You can just have 1 win and pick 4 other games. Or you can pick a bonus. You can pick another game. We just don't pick your Dolphins this week.
Look, Steve, you're a sports guy. You know this. Ted Williams, on the day that he was going to secure his 400 batting average season, said, I'm not riding the bench. I'm playing the game. Keep that Dolphin win on the side. Let's get 5 picks. Let's do this.
All right, let's do it. Pick number 1. San Francisco is at Seattle. Seattle is a 3.5-point underdog at home.
Really? Okay. Well, San Francisco's going to be upset because they were upset last week. George Kittle out with an interview this weekend that said, or this week saying, I love playing Seattle because they hate us and it's so loud and it's outside and it's a night game and I love it. So the 49ers are looking good. Geno Smith playing pretty good. I'm going to go out. This week is my upset pick of a week. It's going to be problems in San Francisco. I'm going Seattle. with this one. Give me them points.
All right, Seattle. And you're getting 3.5 points there. So there you go.
Okay. Love it.
Game number 2, Washington at Baltimore. Baltimore is a 6.5-point favorite.
Baltimore is a 6.5, and it's in Baltimore.
It's in Baltimore.
Look, I got to tell you something. my buddy Mark Ellis is riding high as his Washington Commanders are a legit football team. Baltimore is a legit football team after that bad 0-2 start. It's going to be very close, very close. But Washington is doing that thing where they are stepping up, but they need a little bit more. They're going to take some lumps the rest of the season, and maybe next year they're a 14-3 team, because I know there's like 17 games now. In my day, it was 14-2. I'm going Vikings, Ravens. Same color scheme, Ravens.
All right, Ravens big win at home. Yeah, I think I'm with you on that. I mean, that could be close. I mean, whether or not the Washington wins outright, Jaden Daniels is good. As an Eagles fan, that kid scares me.
He's good. I'm telling you, he's good. And he's legit. But yeah, you know what I mean. Where it's like he's got a great run going, but he's gonna get tripped up a little bit and have to still learn. It's his rookie season.
And they have to, they're winning shootouts. I don't know how good that Washington defense is anymore. So we'll see how Lamar does. I think Lamar could have a big day. Anyway, moving on. Pick number 3.
Number 3.
Cardinals at Packers. Packers are a 5.5-point favorite.
I'd love to be cute with this. I'd love to say something snippy about Kyler Murray finally discovering Marvin Harrison Jr. open in the end zone, but I'm going Packers. It's at home. I'm going Packers.
Packers
Simple.
At home. Okay. Game number 4. Pretty good games this week. Detroit at Dallas. Dallas is a 3.5-point dog.
Really? Okay. At Dallas, too. Look, big win for Dallas on Monday night. Was it Monday night? Yeah. Or Sunday night? I can't remember the times. Sunday night. Yeah, I was watching, though. Thinking of my buddy Josh McCouga, hoping for a big win, but the Cowboys pulled it up. It was a good win. But I got to tell you, I think they're getting not lucky. There's just holes. And they got lucky against the Giants. The Giants, super competitive. I got to tell you something. I really, I'm as a Miami Dolphin fan, I'm sometimes against the Dallas Cowboys here, but I'm going against them. I'm going against the Cowboys. Going against the Cowboys.
Good to go against the Cowboys. Thank you for that. All right.
Yeah.
So since your Dolphins are on a bye, you stepped up to the plate and decided to pick a 5th game. That 5th game is Buffalo at the Jets. The Jets are a 2.5-point dog at home.
Oh, we call this the shit bowl because we got 2 teams that are on my shit list all the time. It's disastrous in New York right now. And I love to see it. That conspiracy theory-ridden Aaron Rodgers sitting on Pat McAfee's show saying, I had nothing to do with this coach firing. Oh, you can't tell me that he didn't orchestrate this thing. I'm going, and as much as I don't like the Buffalo Bills, but I respect the city. It's a hard city. It's a ice storm-filled city that overcomes a lot. I spoke ill against Buffalo last couple of weeks because, I'm a Miami Dolphin fan and I'm bitter. But the Bills are going to win this week.
All right, the Bills. We're taking the Bills at the Jets. All right, so recapping our picks for Week 6. Taking Seattle over San Francisco, Baltimore over Washington, Green Bay over Arizona, Detroit over Dallas, and Buffalo over the Jets.
Love it. Yeah, I stand by Detroit. It's a big week for Detroit. Lauren Romo and Laser Bolt, they're celebrating the Tigers. They're celebrating the Lions. I'm definitely excited about the Detroit pick. Love it.
Let's win some money, Ken. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. Great show.
That's how you do it. Thank you, Steve. Steve comes in and lays it on the line. Gets in there with some great points about dusting, yard work, dishes. Points out snakes could pop up in your barbecue grill, and then helps me pick. Laserbolt says solid picks. 9-11. I'm going to be over 500. I'm going to be like the Swami. All right? Which, looking back, I don't know if Chris Berman should have been the Swami. I don't know if that works out. Maybe it's slightly problematic, but hey, you know what? Leather, you're with me. Me and Berman going all the way. We're taking calls here. This is the Blathering Live. We do this every week. Thank you for joining me on the special Wednesday edition. I'm out of my house tomorrow, Thursday night. You know what? I like to say it's something cool, like a comedy show or some cool concert. No, we're getting bug spray. The house is getting bug sprayed tomorrow, inside and out, so I got to step out. So there you go. We got some calls lined up here. Let me make sure I haven't left some sports moments behind. Here's one. Rads check in. Two. Rads and Laserbolt. Laserbolt says, watching the Miracle on Ice with the whole nation. Laserbolt watched Miracle on Ice live. I was live for it, but my dad was probably watching it. But we definitely, I don't remember it other than highlights. Do you believe in miracles? Yes. Rads checking in says, Reading FC beating Southampton, where I was at Uni, at their stadium to effectively be promoted to the Premier League, closely followed by SB52 Go Birds. That's the Super Bowl. Look at that. Football and football. That's what Rads is talking about. Love that there. Do you have a favorite sports moment? Let us know. Do you also have a chore that you hate? Now's your time. Get into the poll, and we can see where the voting is right now. 37 votes. Dusting, 16%. This is, of course, again, what is your least favorite household chore? Washing dishes, 35%. Yard work, 30%. Though I got to tell you, Steve made a great claim. Boy, that is the answer. Laundry, 19%. If I had put folding laundry, that might have been the winner. And breaking news here. Gosh, I wish I was on my other computer. All right, I'm going to try to do this here. We got time in the show. I'm going to email, get this up here. Going to Big Lou. I asked for proof, and Big Lou came through and has sent me proof of him drumming. He has sent proof of him drumming, and I am going to get that to me so I can share it with you all. Oh, man, this is great stuff, Big Lou. This is amazing. So there you go. We got a couple calls lined up. If you want to be calling in the show, you know what you got to do. Become a channel member. I'm trying to send this thing to me. It just keeps deleting it from the app. So we're doing this. I wish I had a producer right in the studio here. Come on. Where can we do it? Get this producer. Yeah, I don't want to send it. I don't need a subject on this email. You can do. All right. There we go. So there we go. We are hanging out there. Adrian says, yeah, folding laundry sucks. Yeah, I think that's the problem. That is the issue. All right. As I get that email to myself, we're going to bring in Brady calling in, checking in. What's going on, my friend? How are you doing?
Hey there, Ken. Wait, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah, you're a little lower than normal. Are you on some sort of bus?
I am on a rooftop right now.
A rooftop?
I hope, yeah, some undisclosed campus in Los Angeles.
Okay. All right. We don't want to give away your location. We're okay with that. But first of all, what is your least favorite chore? You have to answer that.
Yeah. So I mentioned in chat is yard work, basically. Specifically anything to do with trees or hedges.
Trees? Oh, I love that answer because when I was a kid, we had, for about 7 or 8 years, we lived in a house that was completely surrounded by hedges, like large 7 feet tall hedges. Yeah. And my dad had to cut it every weekend. But I was like a young kid, like 6, 7, 8, probably like 9 or 10 range. And so I only had to help clean up. But I think if we had stayed in that house, I would have been cutting those things. And they did it weekly. It was like every Saturday morning thing. Yeah, so I feel you on that, Brady.
The worst. Oh, my God. Then the sap gets on you.
Yeah.
You feel sticky.
Bugs. There's a lot going on.
Oh, bugs. There are a lot of spiders. Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah, spiders. Yeah, you can't have a fear of spiders when you're cutting the hedges. Mm.
Yeah.
All right, Brady, what's on your mind, buddy? What's your question?
So this was inspired by your recent Force Center episode.
Recent Force Center episode. Okay.
And I think my last call involved a certain movie that's kind of bombing right now.
Sorry, you're coming in a little low. What did you say is bombing right now?
Hello? A certain movie that came out last weekend that is bombing.
Oh, you're talking about Joker 2.
Yes, Joker 2. And specifically, like, the discourse around, like, people not really talking about the movie. I can understand that, 'cause probably most people haven't seen it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but yeah.
Yeah, and if anyone in chat wants to see it, they could probably mute for a while. I'm gonna try to avoid spoilers talking about the movie, but no, I don't know if I can keep the comments really. But I think you mentioned in the episode like people were just kind of dunking on it, without talking what the actual movie was about. So I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about the movie itself.
Okay, you want to talk? I'm repeating because you're coming in so low, so I want to make sure people can hear you. But you want to talk a little bit about what Joker 2 is about. What is it about?
Yes. So yeah, especially for people who are probably not going to see it.
Yeah.
And actually, the reception to this actually kind of made me like the movie a little bit more, because in a life imitates art kind of way. Because the reception is kind of what the movie is about, actually.
That's what I see. And I'll say this: the reason I've not seen the first one, and don't really have any intention to.
Yeah, don't blame me.
Obviously, as a huge Lady Gaga fan, I'm intrigued by what she's done in this work. I have the concept album that she released. I bought the limited edition LP on it. But this is why I want to hear your thoughts here. But the reason I mentioned that on Force Center is there's been a couple people that I have read or heard them talk about what the Joker 2 is about. And to me, it seems like, and I'm not defending Todd Phillips. I'm not here to talk about DC. I don't give a shit about any of that. But when I heard what they were talking about in terms of here's what the movie is saying, I was like, that actually sounds really good. And actually sounds important. And that might be why a lot of the critics, because 98% of the critics in the YouTube space, quite frankly, are media illiterate, and they just want to go for the big dunk. They just want to go for the reactions and the gut reactions. So, Brady, I'm setting you up big. What do you feel it's about?
Yeah, so basically, the movie is about the dual character of Joker and the real person, which is
Arthur Fleck, right?
Arthur Fleck, yes.
Yeah.
And so what the character really wants is he wants to be affirmed. I mean, you probably know that he's a failed stand-up comic.
Aren't we all?
So what he wants most is aren't we all? What he wants most is public affirmation. And in the first film, he basically does the worst thing possible, which is he becomes like a serial killer,
right?
For plot reasons, and he's the Joker.
Gotcha.
He basically does the worst thing ever, but he gets a certain affirmation by some, maybe not the best people, but they love it.
An echo chamber, if you will.
Yeah, and that kind of reflected in the real life reception to it. There's a certain group of people, maybe not the best group of people, that really took to the first movie.
Right.
And that group, I felt like, did not respond at all to the sequel.
Right.
Probably because the Warner Brothers hid the fact that it was a musical. I knew it was a musical.
Right.
There's someone said like nothing that unites Americans more is hating surprise musicals, which I think that's kind of true.
Gotcha. I love what you're saying. I love what you're saying, Brady. That sometimes these films are about the audiences, and so therefore the audience is not going to either pick up on it or want to pick up on it too. I think that happens sometimes too. I'm trying to think of examples off the top of my head, and I can't think of it. But there's been a lot of those in recent years. It's interesting to me. Well, there you go.
In the sequel, he kind of has to come to terms with what he did. And,
right.
What the people, the audience, with the Lady Gaga's version of Harley Quinn, is obsessed with the idea of Joker.
Right.
But the real person, he's a complicated person. He's like at least like one thing to do in this both movies.
Right.
He's a real person with mental illness, and he didn't really have a reason for going on these murders. Like,
Got it.
True for a lot of real life serial killers is that there really isn't an ideological reason.
So Brady, I'm having trouble hearing you. So I'm gonna I don't want you to have to struggle for words. But in the end, what is the 8984M rating of Joker 2? Give me your official film rating. This is your chance to be a movie reviewer.
Ken, I've listened to too much Force Center, and I can't really give ratings.
That's called the Force Center effect. I understand it.
Yeah.
I understand it. Trust me. Try not liking Ahsoka and then have your fan base get upset at you because you do things a little bit differently. No, I'm intrigued. Look, I think at one point, I think I've seen the ending of Joker. It was on TV, and I saw the ending of it. So I feel as though I know enough of the first movie that I'll just be like, I'll just go straight to the second part. I'm intrigued by what you're saying. What's it about? You know what? The movie I was thinking of that's about the audience or the audience reaction is the most recent Matrix. What is it, the fourth Matrix? Where a lot of I'm not a huge Matrix fan, so I haven't seen it. But my point is, a lot of the folks who are like who love that movie are like, and my buddy Andres Cabrera, like, it's about the people that loved Matrix for unfortunately the wrong reasons. It's about a bunch of that stuff, and so of course they're not going to like it. It's a mirror reflecting to them. And so if Joker 2, and I'm not saying I haven't seen it. I don't know if I'll see it. Joker 2, I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm not defending Todd Phillips as a director. None of that. I'm just saying it sounds like from what you're saying, what a couple other people I know have said, the movie is a mirror, and that's not always a great thing for audiences. It's tough to get that.
Right. It's interesting how the people you mentioned kind of reflect a little my impression. That feels good.
There you go.
Especially, you come out publicly like, yeah, I kind of like this movie, and then everyone around you is like, oh no. And that's like, oh man.
Look, here's the thing, and I'm not calling anyone out by name, so there's some good people that do it too.
Yeah.
When you're listening to these movie reviewers, and I'm not talking about the toxic assholes, I'm not talking about the problematic ones, just when you're listening to YouTube movie reviews, make sure they're describing what the movie said, not what they thought, not what they wanted. What did the text of the movie say? What's it about? What are the themes? What's it trying to convey? They can still dislike the movie because not every movie is perfect. Sounds like Joker 2 is not perfect. But that's what I'm interested in, and that's one of the reasons, and I have Trey's comment up there. OMG, is Ken talking about movies? I am. I don't talk about it as much anymore. I lost interest in it because of that stuff. And I loathe the YouTube movie review world. I really do. I pop in every now and then. I might be doing some stuff at Fandom. I just was on there for the Beetlejuice thing, but they don't like getting deep over there. That's not the point of what they do now. So anyways, Brady, I love your call. You got me grumpy in a wonderful way. And I appreciate you, buddy. All right?
And you know what? Just one more thing. Lady Gaga fan, the one criticism was that she was not in it enough. And I kind of agree. She was definitely one of the bright spots for the movie.
That's what I'm like. I like to hear. That's what I like to hear. I'll tell you, Stephanie Germanotta is a good actor, and I like seeing and hearing that. So hopefully we'll get more of her in another movie. I know there's rumors of a spinoff. I don't know if I want that, but I'd love to see her do something else. So there you go. Thank you, Brady, for calling in. And don't parachute off that roof you're on. I'm concerned of you up there. All right, Brady checking in, as he often does. We love having all of our regular callers. You could be a regular caller, too. I have about 2 or 3 minutes left in tonight's show. We had a lot of fun tonight. And if you want to be a caller on a future show, you can become a YouTube channel member here. You also get 20 minutes of coffee when I do it. The last couple weeks, I cannot tell you how much I just have not had time to do anything but the blathering. Which is a good thing. I'm doing some work over the Wi-Files and having fun over there. So Force Center is going strong, and it keeps me busy as well. Mimkiss, look, Mimkiss has got a Joker profile. Says Joker 2 conveyed many interesting things, and that's That's my point. That's all I want to hear. I don't need these movies to be perfect. And some movies can be bad. Maybe Joker 2 is bad. But I'm not interested in reviews that don't at least begin with, here's what the movie said. I'm not interested in that stuff. And JMB says, can we get a Grumpy Ken Black Series figure? I'd love that. If someone wants to make a Funko Pop or a Black Series custom figure of me being grumpy, there you go. Big Lou says no Canadian reviewers. Yeah, there's some specific ones. I can give you the list on there. Trey T says, for what it says, I saw Joker 2 and I liked it. It was a well-made film. And I said, he says, I saw Joker and liked it. It was a well-made film with superb acting. I saw Joker 2 and guess what? It's still good. Completely made more with superb acting. There you go. Trey T checking in. Trey T checking in. All right, I'm going to check the poll before we get on out of here. 39 votes on today's show poll on YouTube. If you're on Twitch or Facebook, you can just always answer in the chat. What is your least favorite household chore? Dusting, 15%. Washing dishes, 36%. Yard work, 31%. Laundry, 18%. So in a surprise, washing dishes, Addie's least favorite chore, wins the poll tonight at 36%. The poll has ended. 35 is the final. 35%. There you go. And 8984M says this. I don't disagree with the criticisms of the movie necessarily, but I love how they swung for the fences in terms of the musical concept. Yeah, I like that too. I like that idea too. All right, we're almost out of here. Love to everyone out in Florida. I'm checking out as we go. It has made landfall. It's a monster storm. Tornadoes everywhere. Seriously, at this point, you can, if you're still there, you're hunkering down and be safe. And we might have an anytime broadcast on Friday. Alden, our anytime buddy and co-host, Alden Diaz, is in the path. I want to say eye of the storm. He's in the path of the storm. Anticipated by the time it gets to him, it would be more of a tropical storm. Still nothing to sneeze at. But if he still has power, we're going to go live Friday with Anytime, talk about places to help, places to donate, and also just talk about his experience there. So look for that. Go over to the Anytime YouTube channel, subscribe there. Subscribe to Sports Card ASMR. If you want to get some of my ASMR videos, you can support me on Patreon and get things like the Young Guns movie commentary. You can also check out the shop on my website. Don't forget, our buddy, Matty Gunner, is releasing his song Truth with his band Mourner. And, I almost forgot. We asked earlier for Big Lou to prove that he was a drummer. So for those listening on the podcast side, go to the video, about 1 hour and 33 minutes. It's not going to be formatted right. But there is Big Lou as a drummer. Look at Big Lou. All smiles. Got a little drummer hat on. He's got a little smile that says, I keep the beat. He proved it. Big Lou, you proved it. Stay safe out there in Jacksonville. Please, please stay safe. Big Lou drumming, taking us home. That's it. We'll see you next time here in the Blathering. Bye, friends. Bye.